Thank you for listening to the podcast version of the Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor. We're just about ready to get started, but be sure to check the links in the post below, socialbee.io, for all of your social media posting needs, 14-day free trial. And of course, Life Points, take some surveys, earn some points, get some gift cards. Pretty easy to do from your phone, your desktop, any sort of mobile device. All right, let's get started with this week's Saturday Report podcast.
Now broadcasting from his hidden bunker and fully stocked bar, it is the Saturday Report with Colt Sebastian Taylor.
Thank you and welcome once again, my friend, to the Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor, adventurer, entrepreneur, and amateur alligator wrangler, and welcome to AWSM Radio, an independent, digital-only radio station that plays today's best music, old school classics, along with a rotating cast of all-star DJs. AWSM Radio focuses on mainstream artists, independent artists, along with a variety of interesting talk and music shows throughout the day. All we do, my friends, is entertain, inspire, and inform. And I want you to be part of the conversation, so you can find me on the Twitter, on the Instagram, on the Facebook, on the Counter Social, even on the Cameo and the Twitch at Colt S. Taylor. You can catch up on all of my adventures at ColtSebastianTaylor.com, which I should probably update one of these days. And finally, if you have missed the show live on the weekend, people are busy, it's May now, you can catch the podcast version at anchor.fm/ColtSTaylor. Please subscribe, because it makes me feel good. All right, folks, let's get started with this week's Saturday Report. First up this week, music and sports. Now, when I say the name Snoop Dogg, legendary rapper, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Number 8 on the list, probably not even on the top 10 list, ice hockey. That's right, Snoop Dogg might be a part owner of an NHL hockey team very, very soon. He has joined entrepreneur Nico Sparks in a bid for the Ottawa Senators. Now, Nico Sparks is a group of part of a group of majority investors who are people of color. This is a pretty big deal because hockey is a very, very homogeneously demographic sport, so to speak. There isn't a lot of variety, especially when it comes to ownership. So he is very, very excited about it. On Instagram, he posted, "Amazing what Nico Sparks is trying to do in Ottawa, and I'm looking forward to being a part of that ownership team. I want to bring hockey to our community." Snoop Dogg said, quote, "I've been watching hockey for about 25 years now. I'll watch it more and more when kids that look like me play the game. But I'm not seeing it being offered to the kids over here in America. I know how big it is in Canada. I've been down with the NHL for a long time, going to games, announcing games, being part of the society. This opportunity came for me to be part of the ownership of the Ottawa Senators, so I jumped on it. The plan that we have is to also go and build a Snoop Youth Hockey League outside of Canada, so kids in urban communities can learn about hockey, can play the sport, and find out ways to get into this great thing that's called hockey. Right now, the NBA and the NHL is having some great playoff games, and the kids need to know that there's an option to play hockey if you look like me." So that is absolutely amazing that Snoop Dogg is doing this. I mean, Snoop Dogg, friends with Martha Stewart, going to be a part of a hockey league. Kinda pretty amazing. He's also said he's been making the rounds on various ESPN shows talking about this purchase. It's not finalized yet, but they are making a bid for the Ottawa Senators in Canada. He also sponsors and runs a youth football league as well. So very much giving back to various neighborhoods, communities. So that's very, very good on him. Snoop Dogg is an amazing entertainer. I love his commentary, especially when he watches nature videos. It's hilarious. And I hope this all goes through for them. So I'll keep tabs on this. I'm sure the sports show on Wednesday will keep tab on this as well. But Snoop Dogg might be an NHL owner very soon. We move on in other sports news. Athletes, are they overpaid? Well, that's a complicated question, but yes, yes they are. Listen, they certainly have earned it. They got good contracts and whatnot, but boy, howdy, do these people make ridiculous amounts of money. In the story this week, the top paid athlete in the world is soccer player, or football for everyone else around the world, Cristiano Ronaldo. Joining the Saudi Arabian side of Al Nassr, doubled his annual salary compared to his previous year. He joined the Saudi soccer club in a deal until 2025 after leaving Manchester United, earned $136 million this year, saying his annual pay went up to from an estimated $75 million. Wow. Ronaldo's contract is estimated to be worth over 200 million euros, which is almost $220 million. The next highest paid athlete is, according to this, Lionel Messi, another soccer player from France, about $130 million. French captain Madap, another feller who's only 24, $120 million. LeBron James, NBA great, $119.5 million. And rounding out the top five, Mexican boxer Canelo Alvarez with $110 million. Yowzer, that is a whole lot of money. Now, a lot of these folks, a lot of people on this big list here, are joined leagues that have been sort of funded by Saudi Arabia. For example, Live Golf, I don't know, a breakaway tour that has been funded by the Saudi Sovereign Fund, lured away some of the PGA's top players with huge sums of money. Then two golfers of that league made the top 10 of the highest paid athletes in the world. Dustin Johnson, with $107 million, made the biggest gain after making a controversial switch to the live golfing, having not even made the cut for the top 15 in 2022. Now has $107 million. Four-time NBA champion Stephen Curry with about $100 million. Phoenix Suns Kevin Durant with $89 million are the other two basketball players on the list. One tennis player made the list. Retired tennis ace Roger Federer made $95.1 million. So, Forbes, which put this report together, said its on-field earnings figures include all prize money, salaries, and bonuses earned in the last 12 months, while off-field earnings are an estimate of sponsorship deals, appearance fees, licensing income, and cash returns from businesses they operate. So, boy, do you know who should make that list? AWSM Saturday morning news hosts, I think, and I'm a steal. You can give me for like a cool 20 million. What maybe can we hit up any like rich nations to fund this radio show so I could get like 20 million, and I would do it every day then. So, I mean, who do you talk to about that? Does anyone know? Do I need to send an email to someone? Or a text? Well, until then, I guess it's just a Saturday show. Anyways, those are the top paid athletes in the world right now in the last 12 months. In big world news this weekend, in fact, even as you are listening to my dulcet voice, the coronation of King Charles III taking place today, Saturday, in London, the United Kingdom. One of the biggest security operations in quite a while going on there. Expecting a lot. So if you're planning to take like a bus tour of London today, it's probably not going to happen. But a big, lavish celebration. This will be the 40th coronation of a sovereign of the United Kingdom since, let me think here. when was like over 1,000 years ago, really? Yeah, since 1066, so almost 1,000 years ago. But the 40th sovereign to be coronated at Westminster Abbey. So Charles will be crowned. His wife will become officially the Queen. This is after Queen Elizabeth II passed away last September at the age of 96. Sat on the throne for 70 years. She was 27 when she was crowned in 1953. King Charles III is now 74. It will be crowned king today. So lots of ceremonial, lots of pomp and circumstance, various golden carriages that travel around, various lifeguards and British tradition. There will be a religious service at Westminster Abbey. He'll take the oath of coronation. Literally the crown jewels of the United Kingdom will be presented. He'll wear a crown, he'll have a sword, an orb, a staff. He'll be anointed with sacred oil. A stone from Scotland that the Scottish kings were crowned on have been brought down to London. He'll sit on the chair that sits over the stone. It is quite the spectacle going on there. So it's been over 70 years since the last coronation, and I believe Queen Elizabeth II was one of the first to be televised as well. So this will be very televised. I think the only thing that will not be shown on TV is the anointment. When they put like holy oil on him, that will be done behind the screen because of the deeply religious and private nature, I guess, of that. Who's who of European royalty will likely be there, both those currently in charge of their countries and those who have had a change of employment in the last century or so. Like I said, he'll take a coronation oath. So before 1689, they didn't take an oath, but it's now a legal requirement since 1689 that compelled King William and Queen Mary to promise to maintain the Protestant faith. And the same year, Parliament passed a law that bans any Catholic from taking the throne, a law that is still in effect today. So, sorry Catholics, you cannot be the King or Queen of England. So, not a thing. So, that will be going on. If you plan to watch it here in the United States, you're going to have to get up pretty early. The process starts at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, with a lot of the networks starting their coverage at 5 a.m. If you know of a English pub in the area, I imagine they'll be opening early on that day. They kind of open early for football and soccer games, so they probably will open early for this. So, will I watch it live? Nope, I'll be sleeping. But in the age of YouTube, I will probably check out the highlights over the weekend, just for my own historical curiosity. Well, the United Kingdom is officially getting a new king this week, and we have a king here on AWSM Radio, the king of DJs, my pal DC. No need for a coronation because he just assumed the throne here. He is our in-house DJ. DC mixes it up every Friday night at 9 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m. You do not want to miss out while he smashes it on the ones and twos, kicking the beats from an increasingly terrible Florida every single week. Then on Saturdays, it's DC House Party Saturdays. DC brings his freestyling DJing to the max. House Party Saturdays gives you the Miami vibe without actually having to go down to Southern Florida. From the top clubs to the bars, DC will bring the party to you. That's Saturdays at 10 p.m. And then Sundays at 10 p.m. is DC live in effect once again. So, just to review, Fridays, 9 p.m., DC live in effect. Saturdays, 10 p.m., DC, House Party Saturdays. And then Sundays at 10 p.m., DC live in effect once again, my friends, only here on AWSM Radio. Next up, my friends, pornography. Ah, yes, the oldest art form, pornography. For those who like a bit spice in their video viewing, there are a lot So many websites out there for you to peruse. Not that I do. I have a friend who told me that once, and I believe him, and he's a nice guy. What's his name? Oh gosh, his name is Bolt uh, Bastion Baylor. Bolt Bastion Baylor. We call him Triple B. Triple B. Yeah. Anyways, if you are a fan of one particular website called Pornhub, you have a cornucopia of selections to pick from in 49 states. Yes, 49 states. Sorry, Utah. Pornhub has disabled its website in all of Utah, so you, my friends, you have one less choice on a cornucopia of choices. But why has Pornhub disabled its website in Utah? Well, Utah has a new law that has an age verification now, that you have to verify your age before visiting said website. Now, you might yourself, oh, well, that's a good thing, right? I verify my age when I visit various beer websites or whiskey websites. Well, it's a smidge different. This law requires you to submit your license and send it to a website to verify your age and identity, and they feel that's a bit much and unworkable, and has some privacy issues with it. According to Cherry DeVille, a member of the Adult Performer Advocacy Committee and adult performer, said that the law is unworkable. Demanding a valid ID card from every visitor in the western U.S. state of Utah is unworkable and has a disturbing privacy risk. Quote, as we've seen in other states, this just drives traffic to other sites with far fewer safety measures in place. The best and most effective solution for protecting children and adults alike is to identify users by their device and allow access to age-restricted materials and website based on that identification. So they feel that the best way to do this is not for these websites to verify identity, but for the devices to have restrict the access itself. Because now if they don't, there is a obligations and liabilities for the entity that if they don't follow this law. So since they feel it's unworkable and just drives people to other websites of a less reputable nature, like maybe posting illegal things, they're just blocking it in all of Utah put together. Now, this is a little legalese here, but Louisiana has a similar law, but Utah does not allow for online use. Okay, they don't allow digital IDs for this particular thing. Louisiana has a digital ID wallet law in place allowing people to do that. Utah does not. They want to see the ID card. But even if in Louisiana, after Pornhub went through this and complied with state law, they saw an 80% drop in the state law because people don't want to hand over their ID. They're by law, they're not supposed to keep any identification stored on their end. But do you really know? And people are a little concerned about doing that. If an ID is tied with a salacious website, there are various blackmailing possibilities. And so that's why people who enjoy said entertainment are now going to websites that don't comply with law and are a little more murky about who owns them and what is exactly going on there. So this is also a similar law popping up in the United Kingdom. And again, a lot of these websites say they will just shut down. They'll just shut down their website altogether for those those states and countries that do this and whatnot. Some websites like Wikipedia have refused to provide any sort of identification because there are intense things on Wikipedia that perhaps children shouldn't be exposed to. But Wikipedia has refused to put up anything saying that all the information on there should be open to everyone, and they will shut down their website in the United Kingdom if that law is passed. And encrypted messaging apps like Signal, which is like a chatting app between two people, they say they will also shut down if they're required to identify people, which kind of goes against the point of why have an encrypted messaging system, because you want to protect your privacy. If you have to identify yourself, then that kind of defeats the purpose. So anyways, lots of complicated law stuff here, but I'm pretty big on, privacy. Totally not the important thing. And I find it interesting that some companies are choosing not to comply and shutting down the services. And hopefully the outcry of no longer having access to these services and websites, these people will complain to the lawmakers might tweak said law and change them a wee bit. Next, my friends, we go to another form of entertainment, watching football on TV. As you may know, if you follow the news here in the United States, there is often folks saying that they will never watch the NFL again for a variety of reasons. Most of the reasons stupid and just hiding a smidge of racism. But there are many people always calling for the boycott watching of football because, quote, if you go woke, you go broke. It's a clever rhyme, but is it true? Is it true? Well, let's take a look at the latest Super Bowl watch numbers. Most watched U.S. telecast ever after updated figures. Yes, my friends, Super Bowl 52 has been announced as the most watched U.S. telecast of all time, according to Nielsen. They say they found that 115.1 million viewers tuned in to watch the Kansas City Chiefs come back and unfortunately beat the Philadelphia Eagles. At the time when it was announced, the day after the game, they said 113 million people watched, but they updated the figures and it was actually 115.1. The updated figures moved this year's NFL game above Super Bowl in 2015. They had 114.8 million when the Patriots beat the Seahawks. But now this last Super Bowl is the most. So why the change? According to a source that told CNN, the increase of about 2 million viewers from the original stated figure was due to both an external coding issue and a metering issue, each of which accounted for about 1 million additional viewers when this error was resolved. Now, in the top 10 most viewed telecasts of all time, there is only one non-Super Bowl event that's in the top 10. What is it? Trivia. The 1983 series finale of MASH. That had 105.9 million viewers. Saw the last episode of MASH. Now, in 1983, there were about 230 million people in the United States. So almost half of the country watched the end of MASH. Today, we have about 340 million, so more of a population. So in terms of percentage-wise, I think MASH might have been the largest percentage of people watching in the top 10. I could be wrong, but pretty impressive for 1983. Still one of the top watched things of all time. I believe my parents watched the finale of MASH. I was like 2 at the time. I might have watched it too. I don't know. Did I count part of that? Who knows? But anyways, last year's Super Bowl 52, the most watched telecast in U.S. history. Moving on in business news, Estee Lauder, well-known beauty product company, saw their shares plunge this week after the cosmetic maker forecasted weaker sales and profit for the year than previously estimated, blaming the slow recovery at duty-free and travel destinations, especially in Asia. They make a lot of their money in the duty-free stores at various airports where you can, I guess, get the things without having to pay local taxes, therefore it's cheaper, etc., etc., etc. They've seen some increases in some areas, but not enough to really boost what was going on. They expect sales to fall 10 to 12% this year, compared with its previous guess of 5 to 7%. The company shares hit a 6-month low of $190 after this was announced. They're down about 17% for the year. They are seeing a hard time getting traction in the Asia market where they have their stores. Despite that, luxury companies in Europe such as L'Oreal and LVMH saw a rise in their first quarter sales, boosted by a rebound in Asia as China eased COVID restrictions. According to analyst Lauren Lieberman at Barclays, said the Este's forecast was the last thing expected, even by Wall Street, and the company comments on its travel retail division. And it's pretty not too good for Estee Lauder. According to CFO Tracy Travis, in a post-earnings call, said Estee had seen improvement in travel retail, which this includes those duty-free sales in airports and shopping districts in China and Korea, through the third quarter, and the company also expects sales from the segment to rise in the double digits. But Travis said, quote, "It's difficult to know when travel in China and Korea will normalize." Estee Lauder's sales also were challenged in the U.S., another major market. The company's organic sales in America grew by double digits last year, but began to decline in the first quarter of 2023. Bernstein analyst Colin Elliott said that the company's brand skews towards older customers, even as millennials and Gen Z increase their share of beauty spending. So they have also been challenged by the growth of smaller competitors in the beauty space. Quote, "We've seen an awful lot of indie activity in the United States that has taken share gains away from the largest companies." So like these sort of independent beauty companies and stuff have been popping up all over the United States. So we'll see how well they do, if they'll rebound and whatnot. Estee's forecasted adjusted per share profit to fall 50% to 51%, compared to 27 to 29% decrease expected earlier this year. The company did beat third quarter sale expectations, but missed profit estimates. So for all you cosmetic company stock watchers, there's a little pressure in the cosmetic industry to make profit goals. Next up, folks, Airbnb. Yes, the company allows you to avoid a hotel room and then go live in someone else's house for usually less than a hotel room. Has gotten a bit of a bad rap lately, mostly because people would go like, "Oh, I can stay in a house for $75 as opposed to $120 at a hotel." Then they'd be left with, "Oh, before you leave, please wash the sheets, wash the pillows, vacuum, do the dishes, do all these like close out activities." And then if they didn't do these like assigned chores to clean up after they left, they would be charged with a cleaning fee. And a lot of people have been griping about that. That like, "Oh, well, I might as well just pay an extra $50, go to a hotel, and not have to, wash the sheets, remake the bed, clean out the fridge, wash the dishes, put the dishes away and whatnot, and, mow the lawn, etc., etc." So Airbnb has announced more than 50 updates to their terms of service and their website to improve customer experience. According to a press release this week, the worldwide rollout of some of these new features began the same day. According to Brian Chesky, the company's CEO, quote, "Millions of people have given us feedback on how to improve Airbnb. We've listened. Today, we're introducing the most extensive set of updates ever." As I mentioned, one of the most highly anticipated changes includes checkout instructions, which were not required apparently to be advertised on listings prior to booking. And then some users were given, some people were given a list of things they had to do before they exited, on top of having to pay cleaning fees on some units. So, some folks like Airbnb, it's a $70 stay, but also you have to $70 plus a $20, $50 cleaning fee, plus you got to do all those other things too. So guests are now able to view any specific checkout instructions on the listing prior to booking a stay. They will receive a reminder before leaving, in addition to having new space in the review process to disclose, quote, excessive requests. So when they review the place, let people know what's going on, there'll now be a spot where they can list what they thought was a bit excessive in terms of requests. Quote, listings with repeated low ratings from unreasonable chores will be removed from Airbnb. Airbnb is also introducing total price display, which will give users the total price breakdown, which includes pre-tax fees across listing pages and search results. The feature was rolled out for beta testing in November, but is now available to all users. There will be also a new months tab, which will allow easier booking for longer stays. Their fees will be reduced for stays 3 months or longer, while the new rooms tab makes it easier for users to book a stay in a spare room. They've also announced a new partnership with Klarna. Guests in the U.S. and Canada can apply to pay for trips in 4 installments over a 6-span week, with guests in the U.S. booking stays of $500 can apply to pay monthly. The company expecting to increase eligibilities in other countries throughout the year. So if you book $1,000 Airbnb, you can pay it off in 4 installments over a 6-week span. So it's kind of like putting on short-term credit, I guess you could say, short-term credit. But anyways, all of these 53 changes are now kind of listed on Twitter, one big old thread. You can check out yourself. I have done a few Airbnbs myself, but through other people. I don't think I have actually ever done one myself. I would prefer to go to a hotel and be called Mr. Taylor and have my pith helmet dry cleaned every morning. It is surprisingly expensive. But, I am a Marriott Silver Uber user, so I've got the points. Yes. I only stay in the best places and watch the most. And I just stay in the best places. Not only do I stay in the best places, I only listen to the best shows when I'm commuting, and one of those shows is the Rock Sessions. It's our drive time show we have here on AWSM Radio, making sure your evening commute home is fun, featuring the hottest music on the charts and some other surprises in between. My friend Rock will make it rocks for you, rock style, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. only here, my friends, on AWSM Radio. Next up, my friends, a update for a local story. Local as in something that happened about 10 minutes from my house that made national news. On late March, a chocolate factory in Reading, Pennsylvania blew up, exploded, to the point where not only did I hear it, my house, but my parents heard it several miles away. A massive explosion leveled the building, heavily damaged the building next to it, killed 7 people and injured loads of other people. A big explosion leveled this chocolate factory, the R.M. Palmer Company in West Reading, which is about 60 miles northwest of Philadelphia, for those wondering. There were 70 production workers and office staff members working in 2 adjacent buildings at the time of the blast, and they have told federal officials that they smelled rotting eggs, which is a telltale sign of natural gas. Now, natural gas itself is odorless, but they put a foul-smelling odorant called mercaptan into the gas so people smell it when it starts leaking. According to the agency report, This is from the National Transportation Safety Board. Quote, employees from Building 2 recalled that they were sanitizing equipment in the building when they detected an odor of natural gas. The employees in Building 1 recalled the smell of rotting eggs around the same time. The federal investigators say a natural gas-fueled explosion fire destroyed Building 2, caused significant damage to Building 1, injured 11 people, and displaced 3 families from nearby apartment building. The focus of the probe has been on a natural gas pipeline that investigators are trying to figure out why it started leaking. UGI, which is the natural gas company out here, in fact, I have UGI providing natural gas to my home as well, said that there was no utility work going on in the area and detected no sudden surge in gas usage before the explosion. So usually when there's a leak or someone hits a gas main, they will detect that, but they did not see anything of that on their end. Workers at the plant have accused R.M. Palmer of ignoring warnings of a natural gas leak, saying the plant should have been evacuated. Patricia Borge, who survived the explosion, previously told AP that she and the others had complained about natural gas odor for about 30 minutes before the factory blew up. Apparently her arm caught fire when the building blew up. Then she fell through the floor into a vat of liquid chocolate. The chocolate extinguished the flames on her arm, but she broke her collarbone and both heels and spent the 9 hours screaming for help until she was rescued. Of course, there is a wrongful death lawsuit filed this month by the family of blast victim Judy Lopez Moran, a 55-year-old mother of 3. They said the Palmer bore responsibility of the explosion. Workers smelled natural gas that day and notified Palmer, but the 75-year-old company, quote, did nothing to it, to address it. Palmer has offered condolences, but said he can't comment on the explosion or any allegations that may be made through litigation, citing the ongoing federal probe. In a company statement on April 13th, which was the last statement has made, said, our employee safety and health have always been and will continue to be of paramount importance. So, looks like what blew up that chocolate factory wasn't chocolate dust or sugar dust or flour dust, but a natural gas explosion. In fact, I drove by that place the other day, and they are still cleaning up that area. Like one building is still like open, has been opened up. Like I saw half of an office, just open air and whatnot. So it's still quite a mess down there from that explosion. But it does look like natural gas is responsible for the explosion at the chocolate company, the Palmer Chocolate Company, the R.M. Palmer Chocolate Company, that's the full name, in West Reading in March. Changing gears, my friends. Hey, it's May. It's May, the first weekend of May. That means summer's almost here. But sports is actually already here. And listen, we got you covered for all your sports needs here on AWSM Radio on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. It's To the Rack with Mac. To the Rack with Mac is your go-to spot for all things basketball. Join NBA expert Mac Daddy as he brings you a full hour of high-flying hoops expertise for all things NBA. Tune in Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. And then at 10 p.m., it's What's Going On. What's Going On is our Fox Sports affiliate show, providing listeners with over 150 combined years of sports knowledge. Hosted by Nate Brown and his crew, they have become a staple of Western New York sports for the past 2 decades. And now, my friends, they're moving national. And we've got them here Wednesdays at 10 p.m. So, just to recap, Wednesdays, and I'm recording this on Fridays, so I have that in my head, but Wednesdays at 9 p.m., it's To the Rack with Mac. Wednesdays at 10 p.m., it's What's Going On, where you're listening to it right here on AWSM Radio. Well, my friends, that just about wraps up this week's Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor. Before I get to my ending little spiel here, remember, check out my friends at socialbeat.io. It's what I use to post on social media throughout the week. I share lots of stories, so follow me if you want to keep up on the news, because I don't always, there's lots of news I don't get to on these broadcasts, and lots of news I share throughout the week. So follow me on the Twitter, on the Facebook, on the Instagram at Colt S. Taylor. I'm also on Cameo at Colt S. Taylor, Counter Social at Colt S. Taylor, and of course, twitch.tv/Colt S. Taylor as well. And of course, follow ColtSebastianTaylor.com. Lots of stuff on there, including a weekly Dungeons & Dragons game that I play online. But, and of course, Anchor.fm/Colt S. Taylor for the podcast version of this show. Well, my friends, what a busy week. Have a great rest of the weekend. And until next time, I'm Colt Sebastian Taylor, and I'll see you later. And again, thank you for listening to the podcast version of the Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor. Check out the links below to socialbee.io as well as Life Points. I think you'll like both sites immensely. Well, until next week, on this podcast version of my show, I am Colt Sebastian Taylor, and I'll see you later.